Not you getting an alert right when we're starting. Welcome to the Reality After Show, covering MTV's The Challenge, Season 39, Battle for a New Champion. We're covering both episodes 6 and 7. I'm your host, Alex Trias, always here with my ride or die. Some say we won ride or dies, and here with my ride or die because Devin's back, and we have to keep saying ride or die. It's Dan Montchal. Dan, how you doing?
Yeah, I mean, just like what? Because first it was Jordan, then it was Kaz, and then it was Devin. That there's like 17 current challenge champions, and with everything that we did, we are your current challenge champion host. So we're back to do it again.
We truly do the work. We weren't here last week, obviously.
My bad.
Someone had to go to the local medical facility.
I did not have to do that. Was just sick. I know it was just me the last time that you heard a podcast with us on to the challenge anyway. The last thing you heard me say was go on a 2.5-minute rant about the spoiler accounts. And I really just wanted to let that sit and marinate for 2 weeks so everyone could think about it.
Well, you know,
it wasn't because I was deathly ill.
So let's just start the podcast with that. I know you have another rant on you right now about the spoiler accounts. Let's get it out of the way to start this show.
This one isn't as big, but once again, this one isn't all the spoiler accounts as well. I think it's MTV Exposed. It's a few of the others, but, you know, we're going to lump them all together because fuck them. That's why. They're doing the same stuff again that obviously Corey caught a lot of hot water for episode 7, which don't worry, we're going to talk about that in detail. But he caught hot water, and there was everything going back and forth since then, the rest of this week, between himself, Melissa, and Big T. And so what the spoiler accounts have decided to do is they're going to take fake tweets that Corey never tweeted out and put them out there. And guess what happens? Because people look at the spoiler accounts like they're fucking gospel, is people are believing them and then attacking Corey. It's just like, what the hell is going on here? What are they doing? I'm just doubling down more on my stance more than ever. I hate him. I hate him so much. And that's all I really have to say about him.
End of the day, especially when it comes to the one specifically like MTV Exposed and all that, it's like they have agendas. They have their the people that they stan, and anyone who's against that standum, they will just be messy as fuck about.
Honestly, you hit the nail on the head with that. The more that they tweet out, and as much as they hate Tori, I'm coming back around on Tori. You know, I'm seeing a lot of good qualities.
Like I had to mute them in order to keep my fandom of Cara Maria alive.
Oh yeah, 100%.
And like, not saying it would made it worse. I love Cara. I can't wait for Cara to come back. She's not coming back next week. We know that.
If only she was on a full-length season that we could maybe see how her return to the challenge would be, but no, we can't have nice things.
You know, you would love to see that.
Only there was just a season that was almost a year old.
If only there was one that was filmed prior to this and prior to USA season 2 that they could just put on Paramount Plus for like 5 weeks, do 2 episodes a week. Who would do something crazy like that?
That'd be ridiculous. No one in the community knows about it and wants to see it. Absolutely
but you know what's going to happen. We're going to be on episode 57 of this show when we're finally at the final, reaching the final, and then they're going to be like, well, watch after, because on Paramount Plus, we're going to start airing All Stars 4.
Well, yeah, 57, you know, right after they bring back former challenge champ Dunbar to compete in a mercenary event. You
have to. You have to bring back Dunbar.
Dummy Bear.
I'm going to be quite honest. I didn't think we'd be under 5 minutes in this podcast, and Dunbar is a name that would be brought up. So,
well, I was just trying to think who's one of the more obscure challenge champions I could bring up, and Dunbar just happened to be there.
What, Jamie? Cousin Jamie?
Cause.
Yeah. Come on, I can pull shit out too. Okay, so we're going to start with episode 6. Episode 6 will not be the longer part of this podcast. Not a lot happened in it. So, episode 6, the big mistake. they're now like starting to like fantasize over like who the champions that are gonna show up. So, like they're like, oh, CT's obviously gonna come, Laurel's gonna come. Someone says like, I think I want to see Bananas to come to fight James because like this is gonna be a forced narrative. Yeah,
Nerys says that, which I also thought it was funny that Emmanuel was the one that called out. He's like, oh, I'd love to go against CT. It's like, oh, you mean like you could have the last time you were on the show, but you called out Devin instead? Yep, nope, I'd love to see that, Emmanuel. Still not over your disrespect for Jordan. And the biggest one there is once again, and it goes through mostly this first episode because we don't see him much in episode 6. Mm-hmm. But what a quick turn in. Is Asaf a massive egotistical cock? Because that's the vibes I'm getting.
Have you seen him on social media?
No, and I'd like to keep it that way.
Dude is like the epitome of hypocrisy. He was like on Twitter. It was either after, in between episode 6 and 7, or after episode 7 aired, where he was like, "Who's Melissa gonna yell at next just to get clout?" And I was like, "Bruh, what are you doing right now? You're trying to get clout and trying to get a rivalry out of Melissa so that you can get a callback. Because guess what? Between the two of you, Melissa's getting a callback guaranteed. She's on the list. Asaf, you ain't giving nothing. You ain't giving nothing. You're dry. You're dry as hell. Your thing is, oh, no one knows that I'm connected. Even my alliance doesn't even know that I'm attached to them. And that's the difference. So, like, I know you have your hate for Emmanuel, but there's a big difference because both of them are playing a similar game, where the difference is everybody on the American side is aware that Emmanuel is with them, but no one on the international side are like fully guaranteed that he is with them. They see him as a free agent. Whereas Asaf, most people outside like the core are like, what's he doing here?
No, I'd agree with that. And I don't think we got to touch on it enough in 5 because I went on the spoiler rant. But with Asaf going, afterwards being like, oh, Jordan, bro, I wish I could have been down here with you. No, you said that after you knew you were safe. You don't want that smoke, Asaf. You don't.
You don't want none of it. He wouldn't have wanted Devin's smoke. And I have my words on that coming on.
Can't wait.
Very soon. By the end of the hour, you'll hear my words on it. But, okay, next, I'm going to sort of just use this in one brush stroke for both episodes. I know it's a newsflash for a lot of people, but Horacio likes to take things very, very slow.
And apparently it's not just relationships, it's decision-making as well. It's everything. It's really... I really don't think we've said anything negative about Horacio. All of Ride or Die's. There may have been a little bit, but nothing too much. It was just he's this great competitor. He's so sweet and he's so lovable. And I stand by all those things. I'm not backtracking and all of that. But as we go throughout this podcast, there's some shade that's about to start going his way.
No, and that's definitely fair. It's going to be a rightful criticism of his early challenge career game, because I don't know the Telemundo show that he was on, and I know he's on one currently.
It's like 6 months.
But I mean, in terms of like what the game is, like the mechanics of the game, like is it just straight up like, oh, people just go and do competitions? We nominate each other to do a competition, like end of the day, like sort of like an honorable thing. Because I feel like that's the gap, is because we saw it with Huey, we saw it with Team Argentina in World Championships. I think it's a cultural thing overall, where like they weren't like really making those decisions in terms of like strategic gameplay, what's better for me, what's better. It was more of a like an honor code, like you're living with the same moral compass that you have outside of the show, you bring into this game, and then that's just how you play. And so it's like you saw it at the end of episode 7 where Horacio doesn't get Emmanuel to go in, and he's like, you know what, it's perfectly fine. Whenever Emmanuel gets power, he can throw me in. I respect it. Like I think it's literally just a cultural way of how he grew up.
It very well could be. And I think one thing that I've noticed over these 2 episodes, if we're going more of the broad strokes,
Oh, we can.
is it's something, I don't know. It's really stuck out. There was, a Reddit thread. I went down that rabbit hole the other day, and we're just talking about this season. And I said, if you were just doing check marks of what makes a good challenge season, so far through 39, if you were just putting them arbitrarily on paper, I'd say we've checked off a lot of those. We have some fights, we have some hookups, we have some drama. But there's something that just seems to be missing overall from the season, at least to this point. And I think it just comes to the overall casting, because the more interesting people that we have on the show are the UK people. Yeah, they're leaving and they're getting taken out soon. And I don't know if that speaks to more of, we have a larger influx of some of the CBS people and not ones that went from more like a Real World or the dating shows that cause that more drama. But it just seems everything to be dialed back more. And for the one person, I'm not going to single out Kylan here, because it isn't just Kylan. I know we've used him, but it's like Colleen, Horacio, Ed. What are we doing here? Where's the drama? Where's the fun?
And I think, like, I feel like part of it we don't see, and it's for whatever, like, maybe it's just because, like, the producers are like, you're boring and confessional for us, so we're not going to give you an edit no matter how far you actually go, type of thing. Because we've seen that. We've seen that where, like, we'll leave the season being like, oh, Colleen, she did nothing. She had like 5 confessions. Like, currently I saw like a thing for at post episode 7. Colleen only has more confessionals than 2 people that were eliminated.
Probably like Chauncey and Jessica.
No, Chauncey has more.
That's unbelievable.
Huey has more.
Wow.
I forget who the other person is, but it was Jessica, and one other person had less confessionals than Colleen up through episode 7.
It's been a point every episode of being like, oh yeah, that's right, Colleen's there, and
like,
I almost have to remind myself.
They throw her a confessional or 2, and they put them in interesting spots where I'm like, they're not giving her like a clear edit, but they like throw her confessionals in parts where it's like, okay, we want you to see that like she's critiquing these people that are doing things badly. So like, if you're reading past that, which the casual won't, it's like, oh, so she's actually doing a pretty good job in the game. Like, she's probably in a pretty great position. We're just not seeing it because you have all these other people that are bigger personalities, and like you said, that's what you want out of the show, is someone who's a bigger personality, who's not just there to get the paycheck. Because I'll use Melissa's words, not in the same way that she used on Corey, but it's like, if this is something that you want to see that you can profit off of and monetize off of more than just the one time that you get invited, it's like, you can't just play for the perfect game now. You need to play a good game that you could potentially win now, as well as being called back so you can win more money moving forward. But maybe that's not what Colleen wants.
Maybe not. It's quite possible, but it's, from 75% of this cast, it's just been like, whoa, I really expected more out of them. And I know you and we had been talking about it offline. I think going back to last week's episode, it is a lot different seeing some of these people in the past that we kind of were rooting for and liked as underdogs. And now that they have some type of power, it's more, unfortunately, I'm looking at Jay, Michelle, that it's just like, I don't love this quite as much when you have power. You become more stale and boring.
See, a part of me has my bias, but like Michelle, I don't really have a problem with in either position of like a true leader role or a underdog role. Like it sort of blends together for me, and I'll always be thankful for Michelle being on our screen. So I'm like, I don't care. Jay, on the other hand, like, I don't know if it's production like trying to prop him up before they have him answer his questions or whatever, but like, there's like an air about him that we hadn't seen like a full ton of through his like TV career. Like we know that he has a little bit of that, like, not complex, but like you want to be a big dog. You want to be a big dog, but there's so many obstacles in your way from being the big dog. And now he's finally in a point where like he gets to be not the puppet master, because I think he's been blind to some things. But he has definitive sway because so many people are trusting him for this go around. That he's like, oh, thanks for telling me that. They're on the hit list now. Oh, you need to go because whatever reason. It's reasons that don't make sense. Like, Big T has to go right now. I'm like, why? She's one person in an alliance of 3 people.
That's what's crazy is it's Steve. We have to keep targeting the other side. It's like, okay, but the other side is very dwindled numbers. People. It's almost no one there. And I guess it does make a little sense if you take a step back and you think the introduction to Jay obviously was Survivor Millennials versus Gen X. And he wasn't necessarily a great player when he had the power on that season. When he had the power, he decided to blindside Michaela, which was truly a number for him. And where
great
people
TV.
Really, yeah, it was great.
Bad move.
Yeah, it was a bad move for him in the game. And then when really, you know, it was everyone who liked Survivor and was watching that was rooting for Jay, it was when he became that underdog. And I'm wondering if it's just similar to what his arc could potentially be on the challenge, not this season, but as long as he's there, is that he's someone that when he's on the bottom, his back is against the wall, he can be fun to root for. He is a pretty good competitor. But once he gets some type of power, it's just like, man, that decision-making isn't always necessarily as good as what he thinks it is in his head.
Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I will say, in terms of just like the strategic gameplay of what's going on in this season, because we're doing broad strokes with these 2 episodes. Not a ton happened, everyone. I'm sorry. But okay, sorry. Let me do this. Fantastic Four was made. I'm surprised they didn't get a licensing right thing there. With Nerys, Michelle, Asaf, and Jay voting as a unit. Asaf's the double agent that no one knows that he's actually aligned with anybody, so who really cares? And Melissa and Big T are the big targets. Corey feels alone. Moving on. And then like you even get like a Colleen here saying like, oh, they're heading to the challenge for episode 6, and like Big T and Melissa need to be separated. And it got like, now that I'm thinking about it, now that we are actively talking about this, it's like I get the whole like you have this big whirlwind tornado alliance, whatever, storm, whatever, and you're so hyper focused on like demolishing the other side, and I'm like, well, why are you so pressed by Big T and Melissa? And one, I guess, is because they're truly just like on this other island, because like Callum has Michelle, James has Mariah, like that there's things that they're interwoven within. And I feel like at this point it's just like straight up fear that like Big T could find some magical way of out talking them and twisting people's minds because Big T is Big T. But like I feel like they've hyped her, like the vision in their head up so much of like, this is just how much of a political power player Big T is, that she and Melissa have to be separated.
I don't know if it's just because they're a pair, but you're right, because it isn't even really the UK alliance anymore, because we see Callum and James kind of trying to fall back under the radar, more blend in after those first few episodes. And it's more of like, it's just the house. And I guess maybe even, I think in some degree, Zara is attached to them as well. But it's just, it's Big T and Melissa. And there's still, what, 20 of you left? 19? It doesn't need to be that focused on 2 of the smaller women in the house.
Yeah. And like from the power players in the alliance, I don't have an issue with it. But when the alliance is 16 people of the 20, maybe a little less. Let's say it's 13 of the 20. Because like you have Berna there, you have other people there that are just like existing. You should start thinking about, well, who's next on the chain? We're about to demolish the UK. They're about to all be gone. who's next? We don't get to all ride off into the sunset together. We all don't get to have an individual $386,000 per person. Like you have to start thinking of these next moves, and it's like so many of these people are way too content at the time being of being like, I'm good with just being a number. I'm just good. These people have been loyal to me, even though it's really you've been loyal to them. It's this trap that a lot of people get when you have this big alliance structure. And like, say what you will about the Vacation Alliance. Really, the Vacation Alliance was only successful because it was a smaller group, but you then had all these add-ons of people that were just like, I'm just here to follow the ride. I'm here to try to get a call back by being nice to the people. You don't really have that excuse here.
No, it's really weird how we see it. And it's as dumb as, the Fantastic Four was, at least they do have a subset within the alliance. So it's, hey, we know that it's the four of us, but people like the Ed, the Colleen, the Mariah, and I'm sure there's more that I'm just not thinking of right now because they all kind of blend together, is what's your plan once the UK's out? Because you're going to have to start turning on each other. And I don't know if this is, well, I don't want to be the first one to make the move against the alliance. Well, guess what? Then it's probably going to happen to you. And not only if you make that first move, could it potentially benefit you in this game, but it also causes some intrigue, some reasons for, hey, this person's out there trying. Maybe we should give them a call back instead of, well, they just kind of went with the numbers, and rather than making a big wave in episode 6, they're just going to go out, I don't know, underwhelmingly in episode 10, 11.
And one person I'm very curious to see, like, post this season, because like they're going to be called back. Like a good portion of these people in this bigger alliance are people that will be brought back. I want to see like Olivia's thoughts on like not being in this in this specific structure. Because there is the ride or die girls thing. So like that's its own inner entity of this bigger group. But like she's not in this thing that Michelle and Nerys are in. There's this weird thing online, like not really from Nerys or Olivia anymore, but like of the fandom thinking like that Olivia and Nerys are beefing because of Horacio.
So from how I understood it, and like you, I try to stay out of as much of what happens later on in the season. Don't want to know. Try to avoid it as much as possible. I think it is, I don't want to say well documented, but at least been thrown out there that there is something that happens later on in this season that causes that fracture. And honestly, I hope there is, because it'll cause intrigue if there is some type of head that comes between Olivia and Nerys. And I pray to God it's not just because Horacio, because that would be stupid. I hope it's something that happens in the game. One of them turns on the other, takes a shot, something along those lines.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get to this challenge. Bingo Bango or Bingo Bongo. My notes auto-corrected it to just say Bingo Bingo. We do learn that Mariah's at least kink friendly because she very desperately wants to choke someone in the mud.
Not surprising.
Maybe James.
Or vice versa, but who knows what she's into. I don't want to project.
Wait, hey, kink friendly. I'm sure Fairplay has plenty of stories. We know Matt does.
It's one of Matt's favorites. We had to bring Matt back somewhere.
Hey, it's handling balls. Matt has to be included here. Anyway, it's literally just you're in 3 different groups. You're playing bingo. You have a bunch of numbers on your walls. Balls will be dropped down with numbers. You will go one at a time. It'll either be all girls or all guys going, trying to get the balls. Whoever gets 5 in a row, getting bingo, will win the challenge and be safe from elimination, as well as selecting the first person to go down. Really, everyone's just working around trying to making sure that the turquoise team doesn't win so that they can just vote Big T as one, make Melissa the house vote, or vice versa, have both of them go down if it's a girls' day, and just wash your hands of it.
Including members on the turquoise team that are throwing the challenge. Yep. This was really set up that there was no way we weren't going to have either Melissa or Big T be the house nomination here.
Right, like outside of James, you really didn't have anyone fighting on turquoise, or having a real shot, because like we do see like it gets to a point later in the challenge that like some of the teams like didn't need the balls that were coming down, but they're like, hey, Nerys, go run out there and tackle Melissa and hold her down so that they don't get that ball, and then like we can slowly get everything like taken care of. So that's like where the most excitement comes from. It's like Melissa takes offense to it because Melissa is Melissa, and we get like some old school feels of it where like everything ends like, and she kicks Nerys. There's a moment where like Nerys is claiming that Melissa was like choking her by her helmets, and I'm like, you know what? I like, I love Nerys, but I'm like, I love that she's being dramatic about it all and like really like hyperbolizing what's going on, and I feel like Melissa's fully right to do all of that. And I'm like, hey, if you all want to throw hands, do it.
Well, and especially with Nerys here, she clearly never watched. Would have been Vendettas, because the last time that Melissa was in, it was an elimination, but something specific like that. She will play dirty. She will kick, knee, do whatever it takes. It was Sylvia.
She lost to Sylvia there, and that's where like everyone started to realize, oh, Sylvia's actually pretty damn good at these like physical shit.
After Melissa just kind of beat the shit out of her for 15, for probably longer than 15 minutes, however long it was.
I think people definitely underestimate how physical Melissa is willing to go. Like, I think people see her and she's like, oh, she's like this tiny, like beautiful woman. Like, what can she do? Well, and she's like, oh, well, I will rip your head off.
Well, I do know she's not like a professional by any means or whatever, but I remember from back when that was happening that she does have some type of like a mixed martial arts background. So she's definitely very scrappy.
No, and you can see on her, she's fit, like fit. If you guys don't know it by now, we are a Melissa supporting podcast here.
Love Melissa.
And I love her because she's like the closest thing we'll ever have to legitimate old school vibes. Like she was out on like her Insta lives, like posting videos of her just talking shit on Corey for like a solid like 30 minutes.
Yep.
Love it. Keep bringing Melissa back. She's on that Amanda tier for me of like, no, she doesn't have to be on every season, but like every other season, bring her back in and let's see what happens.
Yeah, because we know that she's willing to do, going back to like that checklist of what you'd want out of a female competitor or just like any competitor in general. Melissa checks all those boxes and is entertaining. She's someone, you know, she's there every single episode. She's loud. She speaks her mind. She stands up for at least what she thinks she believes in and is a true supporter. We see it of Big T. And agreed. I don't think there's anyone that should be getting that call back season after season after season, but every other season, make that call to Melissa. And if she wants to come back, put her on the plane.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. So now so the red team wins, like mainly off of the back of Zara just being, and Horacio just being beasts. Like Zara running so fast that she's not even entering the mud.
That was actually very impressive from Zara. I thought it was a very impressive performance.
Who was it? Was it Kylan that was saying how like Zara ran, or was it Callan?
I think it was Kylan.
Because I knew the exact animal he was talking about. Because I remember seeing those videos, like when you grow up and you would watch you would have like those like animal videos or what you would watch in school of like those little reptiles that would just like run so fast that they run on top of the water for a good bit. Like, that looked exactly like her. I need more confessionals from her. I need more personality from her. I know she's a hell of a competitor. I need more to be like fully invested in Zara. But I'm so surprised that they fixed the game for the red team to win. I would have thought they would have wanted blue to win because like on blue, you'd still have Michelle, Raven, Nerys, Ed, and Michelle would be able to get Callum to turn on like either Melissa or Big T. Melissa was most likely would have been the vote either way. But you put in the hands of Berna, Colleen, Zara, Kylan, Horacio, and Emmanuel. And a lot of these people are like outside of Kylan, who'll just like put his opinion out there and stand firm on his decision. Once he like says what his opinion is, he's not really going to change it. It's like a lot of these people are sort of like, I don't know. I just want to do what's best with the house. I just want to be the majority. Like Berna's saying, I have opinions. Like Melissa yelled at me, so I'm gonna do Melissa. Kylan's not gonna do Melissa. Horacio has no fucking clue what he wants to do. Emmanuel will pick Melissa because Melissa said his name. Zara's just like, I will just vote with whatever the majority decision is. I'm just trying to get in good somewhere. And Colleen also is on the train of like, let's vote Melissa in and then make Big T the House vote. So ultimately, that is what happens while the vote is going on. Like Melissa's like, I should be safe. Like I'm good with Kylan, obviously, and like Kylan and Horacio are tight. So like Horacio shouldn't say my name. Then we see like he's flubbering, trying to get an answer, trying to make a decision, and like he's getting pressed for an answer, and then Nerys just like speaks some Spanish to him, like, hey, like don't be stupid, like don't say Raven's name, don't say it. You know what you need to say. And he just folds and says, yeah, Melissa's going in. So Melissa's going to be the house or the winning team vote.
And shockingly enough, this is only the second worst Horacio deliberation we're going to talk about this episode.
Honestly, I feel like this one was worse. Because like you saw someone actively controlling his answer.
Oh, you're talking about Nerys talking to him in Spanish?
Yeah.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah, because it's brought up again in episode 7, and like that's the thing that's highlighted. It's not this one where like, oh, you know, like I did fold and pick Emmanuel, even though it wasn't the name I wanted. It was like at least there, like in his head, in his confession, he's like, I had other ideas, but like I just decided to fold because the other two people were saying Emmanuel.
Which is really weird when you start out like this arc that we have of Horacio now, because we start out episode 1 where he throws that rogue vote onto Big T, and it was like, no one's going to make. Yeah, I'm not a follower. I make my own decisions. And now that we're 3 weeks into the game, it's like, come on, buddy. Now's the time to bring that voice back. We need you to not be a follower and actually put some input in here.
What I think is funny is he did that, and then like Big T didn't go. You know, still.
You think it just spooked him?
And then he was just like, "Whoop, I'm just shut up now and just hide back in the numbers and just say
Homer
what the
Simpson
team
it
wants."
back into the bush and just
Yep. Which is funny because it's a Big T for all reasons. So the red team only makes this choice, but they make it like if I'm anyone on that in that big alliance and watching how they were moving and how indecisive they are, I'm like, that's a problem. Like that's a problem for me moving forward. Like I'm still gonna handle our business right now, still focus on Big T, Melissa, Callum, maybe James, who knows at this point. But then I'm gonna be looking at these indecisive people.
Yeah, it's if you can't make this decision when there's 19 people left, how can we count on you to make this decision when we get down to 12, 10, 8 people left?
Right. And like I will say in Kylan's defense, especially for episode 7, I at least like the idea that he's targeting people that he thinks are threats for the final. Mm-hmm. Like instead of, and like he's technically been, even though he's in this structure, like he's truly on the bottom of the American alliance, but like I think because of that he might be a little self-aware of that and being like, well, I just want to do what's best for me, and what's best for me is these people that are going to be great in the final to get the fuck out.
No, that is good, but here we have we need to get Melissa, because
we have to get Melissa. But I do find it funny in the confessionals of like Big Team Melissa be like, what the hell, Kylan? Like, how could you not protect Melissa here? Like, he's one person in 6. If everyone else says your name, he can't outpitch 5 people that are dead set on going against y'all. So like that happens. Big Team Melissa are very aware that they were sabotaged. And Melissa's like very much on this train of, well, let's make Nurys the other vote. Let's try something because we don't want Raven to be the vote.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want Big T to be the vote. And I think Big T makes the it's like it's a mistake, but not a mistake based off the constructs of the house of like, I don't want a politic. I don't want a politic to save myself. But it's like you're almost like rolling over and dying and just hoping that everyone else just magically decides on a different name. But knowing the context, it's like even if Big T tried, it just would have reinforced the decision anyway.
Yeah, I agree. It would have been nice to see kind of more fight for her if she would have done more speaking on her behalf than Melissa. But it's like you said, as soon as she would have opened her mouth to the other side to try to push out Raven, all that would have added is that other side, the Nurys, Michelle's, Olivia's of the world, just being like, well, look at Big T go, like just trying to save herself. We got to vote her in. So she was really in a lose-lose situation here.
Okay, so now it's club time. And I know I'm going to be revving you up for something very, very quickly. But first, very conservative Horacio gives Nurys a lap dance.
From instruction from Emmanuel.
And
hey,
you know what?
This is how you do this.
I think he needed some more instruction. Like, I get it. He's hot. If we all look at what how he was moving that lap dance, it was rigid as fuck.
You know, you'd think the soccer player has some of that blood in him. You'd think he'd have a little bit more fluidity and dance moves, but
maybe he needed a few more drinks.
I think Horacio always needs a few more drinks just to loosen up a little bit more.
Yeah. And then we have people counting votes. They're trying to figure out what can happen. We do see Callum here starting to say like he realizes like only UK people, only international people are leaving. I need to find a way off this ship. And like that's obviously with Michelle. But he says this to Asaf, who describes himself as Geppetto, and Callum is just his little Pinocchio. And Dan, here's rant number 2. Go ahead.
I don't even have a huge rant on this. This just reaffirms what an fucking dipshit, I don't know, narcissist in his own head, egomaniac Asaf is being this season. He calls himself Geppetto because he thinks that he's having, a friendly conversation to steer Callum. And, oh, you don't understand that I'm running this game. Running what game? You got voted down in last episode. Yeah, that shows that you're running this game. Like, I truly don't have the words. I saw that whole confessional and I was like, talk about zero self-awareness.
And like, look, he could go far in this game. I don't really care. Because like the success of his game is this whole thing about like no one knows that me and Jay are tight. That only works for this specific season. If you were to ever be called back and like you and Jay are there, guess what? The veterans are putting both of you in elimination against each other. Like every single time.
But what if he's called back and Jay isn't there? He's almost in a
worse then he's spot. Just going in elimination anyway.
Yeah. He's just setting himself up to pretty much be, hey, Asaf, did you enjoy Total Madness where you were the first vote and eliminated first? Well, guess what, buddy?
Bye, Jay.
Every season, bye, Jay. Every season you come back because it doesn't seem like you're building these tight connections with anyone else outside of your Fantastic Four. You're going in because no one knows where you are. All you can see is Jay. And your judgment is so off that you thought after, 2.5 days that Corey was your blood brother. So I don't even know what to think of with this off.
So true. So true. I honestly, there was a moment in me that I forgot about the whole blood brother of it all.
Well, yeah, it's, I don't know. It's just,
you know what? This is the most air I'm giving Asaf because he's invisible in the next episode. So, we get the Melissa and Nurys fight, and all I could think about is while like Melissa's, I love that Melissa's like, I need the men defense of Nurys. Cut to Melissa be like, you did me wrong. You sabotaged me. If I win power, I'm going after you. But let's be friends. And Nurys is like, I've been doing anger management for like years now, and I really don't want to hit someone, but I really want to hit someone right now. And so she like removes herself from the situation. And all I can think about is also from was it also yeah, it was also Vendettas,
Her
I
and
want to
Cam.
say.
You talking
Her and
about the
Cam, where
Cam?
like
Yep,
she's just
Vendettas.
getting in Cam's face, Cam's like talking that talk, and Melissa's just like, okay, let me just tie up my
Tying
hair.
her hair back.
I'm about to go ham on somebody right now. And because
Melissa
like
gives
that's the
no
thing, Melissa
fucks.
ain't scared of nobody. Like
No.
she doesn't obviously like she doesn't want to go into elimination. There's certain things she is scared to do, but like when it comes to confronting people, like no, she's on that shit. Like, and I love that about her as like a character and as a person. Just like I'm gonna call you out on your shit. I'm not gonna be apologetic about calling you out on your shit. Y'all already put me in. It's like what else can you do to me? So you know what? You sit there and you take this.
Well, it's just great TV. She's not afraid to get in anyone's face. I mean, she got in Cam's face, but Cam is a lot bigger than Nerys, like physically more intimidating. And she doesn't care. I mean, the second time she comes back after all of that, did she learn her lesson? No, she got in a fight with Kayla. So, like, Melissa is just perfect for this show. It's very similar, but somewhat different to your comparison with Amanda. Is that she's someone that probably, if she won, it wouldn't be the big show. It wouldn't be the biggest shocker. It'd be a shocker if she won this season, obviously. But it wouldn't be surprised if a right setup that Melissa could potentially win. But she's always going to be there to cause this drama, which is probably going to hold her back from ever winning. But it's why she's great. It's why we need more people like Melissa on the show. Yeah. I don't want 24 people that can go there and all could potentially win. No, I want a handful of good people that can potentially win and everyone else there that is there to make great TV. And if it ends up working out that way, that's awesome. But that's not their main point of being there.
Yep. So remember when I was just telling you that Asaf is Geppetto and Callum is his Pinocchio?
Yeah, I remember.
So for some reason, this Geppetto becomes a Pinocchio because he immediately runs over to Jay and tells Jay everything that Callum said. And because of that, Jay's like, cool, thanks for that information. Callum, I've been letting you have your fun with my friend Michelle. I've been letting Michelle have this like cuddle time. But now you have to go.
Which this ties more into episode 7, but it's really weird because you think, oh, okay, like Callum's going to end up going because of this confessional right here by Jay being like, Jay is now going to turn all of his guns and, point them directly at Callum. And the reason that he goes has nothing fucking to do with Jay. So it was just weird that we even had this whole little storyline in there.
No, it's all because of Jay. We know this. Jay masterminded Devin's decision.
He's just going to go in there and be like, it'd be really great if you just volunteered to go in. That just lets you pick. Well, I guess you don't get to pick who you want to go against now. So he loses that argument, but yeah, whatever.
Okay, so I'm going to speed this up now. The Ride or Die girls are sketch of Kylan because Kylan will always pick Melissa. And why isn't he doing what the group wants? I'm like, well, y'all are not really treating him like an actual member of the group. So why should he just bend his knee to whatever you guys want? Anyway, I love Melissa that she's actually actively trying to fight for Big T to not be an elimination. Big T, for whatever reason, feels confident it won't be her heading into nomination. I do not know why. And it's a landslide Big T vote. And Ed says it, and I'm glad Ed says it, because this is like who Ed is. Like, Ed is a normal person. Mm-hmm. Like, end of the day, like, he is like wacky enough to be on, like, be invited to a reality show, but he's a more normal person compared to the field. And he's just like, I don't know why everybody's acting so surprised and apologetic. We know what the plan was. Everyone knew. Why are y'all hiding it? It sort of is what it is. And, I'm always going to be a little bit nicer to Ed because he's from my area. Mm-hmm. Just FYI.
Well, and he's friends with friend of the podcast, Tommy Trina. They were together a few weeks ago at a gig that Tommy performed at. So,
Pro Ed, the biker chicks showed up.
That I don't know.
I heard they're a good alliance.
They might be. It's possible.
So Melissa and Big T are the votes. They go down to the arena, and the new champion that shows up is Kaz, who was the winner of Survivor UK as well as the World Championships. A lot of people don't know who she is outside of the international people, given the reaction.
One of the 17 current challenge champs that we currently have.
Yeah. So Jordan comes in and he's like all like hyped up, adrenaline pumping, and Kat's just like comes walking out, very nice, very happy to see everyone. Like, hello everybody. I have my bank account, y'all don't. So they go to do the draw, and she picks the same bar that Jordan picked, which picked the house vote. I noticed.
I wasn't paying attention to that. That's something to look for.
I'm sure they will change it up, but based off what we see in episode 7, it looks like whoever, like, from them picking, so not from the TV angle. If they pick the far right, it's the house vote. If they pick the far left, it's the winner's vote. And if it's the middle, it's chaos.
That would be interesting moving forward to see if it's like you said. I'm sure they'll switch it up, but that's definitely something I'll be looking for next episode.
Well, also, it's now been spoiled to us that CT does definitely pick the chaos one, because we see him with the mace in all the previews.
Oh, that's right. I didn't even think about that.
Unless they let him just walk out with it. And they're like, you don't even get a choice. He gets chaos immediately.
Yeah, it also could have been like, here for the promo, swing this around, CT. But yeah, I would love to see how it pans out. Unfortunately, we need to wait till like March for that episode to air. But when we get there, it's going to be
March is generous. It'll be May. We joke, but it's because we're sad.
A little bit, yeah.
Okay, so she picks Big T. So it's Big T versus Kaz. The elimination is loaded barrel, where they have to move themselves within a barrel to grab 5 bags that have puzzle pieces and bring them to their zone. And then once they're in their zone, solve a puzzle. Kaz is having a harder time with this. She's smaller bodied. Big T tries to get all of her puzzle pieces first, make one big pile to then just throw them all. Big T ends up winning. So Kaz leaves, but she gets to keep her winning purse from 2 other shows that they can't get. So yeah, Big T wins.
The only other interesting fact that I'd like to see is it was almost a little bit like role reversal when Kaz was going to pick, because we've seen up to this point Melissa as this fighter. She's so confident, and you think, okay, she'd have no problem. But you see her being a little bit more nervous and freaked out, actually being down in the sand, where suddenly you see that calm Big T, where you even hear, her saying like, please pick me. Yeah.
But part of me feels like whereas Jordan came in and he just loves beating on people. I don't think Kaz has that same energy. And like,
she definitely doesn't.
She really didn't have a motivation to, because it was 2 people that she liked down there. And like, she makes it obvious, like, yeah, all my UK people love seeing you all again. Like, I don't think she was like going ham in this elimination to begin with.
Well, it also made it seem like, just for how they came out, and I think it just speaks to especially the type of competitor Jordan is, that he's always amped up and ready to go. But from how they came out, it almost seems like they forced Jordan in a room for 48 hours just to watch like some of his greatest hits for the challenge, where like they just took Kaz straight from the airport right to elimination.
Yeah,
like, you're ready to go, right?
Kaz came from the airport. Jordan came from like a self-assigned solitary confinement for like 2 days.
Yeah.
He's like, put me in a padded room for 2 days with nothing, and I'm going to be so amped up that I'm going to tear someone apart.
He's like, just do that and show me the greatest hits. His eliminations for War of the Worlds 2, flipping all the cards against bananas.
Don't show me the result of the banana one, but
no, yeah.
Either of them.
That is true.
Yeah. So, but that episode 6, moving to episode 7, so flip floppy. Big T's new strategy now is just to win everything, because
Just
I'm
win,
gonna
baby.
constantly be thrown in anyway. Um, Callum feels like he's in university now because everybody be hooking up. Even though Horacio, that he also makes a comment that, well, Horacio's very slow, they ain't kissing or anything, but like we'll see what happens.
Hey, they're laying on the couch together. That is a big step for Horacio.
Yeah, it is. It's like third base.
It's first base just being in the same room,
Yeah.
simulating small talk.
Well, I don't know. Don't tell Berna that, because Berna says that Horacio is bad at the social game.
He's not great. He's not great.
She says he falls short of that for her.
It's just proof that it's, you can't have it all. Like if Horacio was also this cutthroat competitor, like he'd just be the total package. He's got to have some shortcomings.
Mm-hmm. But like this honestly shows like his biggest flaw in his game is that he's just overly cautious about like not even just like in his game, but in life, he's just very, very cautious about what actions he ultimately does.
Yeah, he's definitely someone that it's just like a big decision needs. Like I couldn't see Horacio going out and making an impulse buy. He's someone that, like I need to buy a new car or whatever. So I'm going to research it for 6 months, do 37 test drives, and then we'll make that decision.
Yeah, exactly. We then see Corey doesn't know where everyone stands. He doesn't feel like he's in a good spot. And he doesn't like that when people get isolated that they make other people feel bad. We'll see what happens later on in this episode when he actively makes people feel bad. Especially saying that to Melissa. And Melissa's like, I do want to believe that I can trust Corey and have him on our side. But like what we also see from Melissa and Big T, they're like, but like we're grasping at straws here. We need to take any bite. Oh, they looked at me for 2 seconds. They're in my alliance now. Like I feel like they're almost like half joking in every single confessional about who they have in an alliance with.
Oh, at this point, I think they know that they're on the bottom. Like you said, they're grasping at straws. They're willing to work with just about anyone. But unfortunately for them, the way that the rest of the house is so cautious and so afraid to do anything to go against this big UK alliance, there's nothing they're going to be able to do outside of winning.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so after that, we do have a conversation with Callum and Manuel where like they both bring up again, just like people they don't feel like 100% with, and Horacio's is being brought up because like he's very under the radar and like he doesn't make active decisions. And we see both from Callum and Emmanuel here about wanting to support their families, retire their moms, whatnot. Is this leading in any way this episode, Dan, into my theory of Emmanuel winning the season? Because we have 2 people in this episode talking about what they want the money for, what they need to do. We have Emmanuel being called by TJ like this is champion mentality, and then we see Callum go.
It's quite possible. I hate it right now. Maybe by May, the winds will have turned and I'll be back on Emmanuel's side if he's still around. But it's quite possible but I will say that for me, it didn't stick. Emmanuel's, yes, we got a lot of the same confessionals. It didn't stick out as much that, Emmanuel may be a threat. But as soon as we started getting all of that from Callum paired with the date with Michelle, I was just like, ooh, like there's a solid chance he goes this episode. And then, you see it play out like, all right, maybe not. That was weird that they included all that in there. And then, of course, you have the chaos of it all. But as I was watching it live, I was like, I have a bad feeling for Callum now. Much more so. I don't know if it was just the way how it was framed, how it was a little bit more focused on him this episode. But I saw a lot more of this foreshadowing a Callum boot than I did, this is foreshadowing a Emmanuel win. But it very well could be these small moments that we're putting in there. I have no idea.
Right. We'll see. Like, I hate him or love him. He obviously does play overall a good game. Like, he has his flaws. We highlighted them in other episodes of like just like how direct he is about things when it comes to him, like his name being out there. Like we see later in this episode, like he's very pointed at Big T when Big T says like sorry for like putting you down. Like, you're not sorry. If you were sorry, you wouldn't say my name. I'm Dracula, blah, 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 blah. At least he hasn't been the one making Dracula references this year. I'll take
Thank
that
God.
as a win.
Thank you.
But you have to say, like, overall, his social game is probably among the better ones in this cast, because like even in his other season, like I think part of it was he was winning a lot, but like he only went down that one time where then he called down Devin, loses that elimination. Like, he really doesn't get called down to elimination. Like, he does a good job of actively avoiding having to go down in the sand.
No, I will say that for him going down, he does play a good social game. That it was the perfect storm of three people, and the way that makeup was Horacio's inability to make a decision that get him down there. If it's any other group, or pretty much any other group of three, I don't think he goes down there. I just think it was an unfortunate, like I said, series of events that paired those three together.
Yep.
Which is the reason he's the vote. Outside of that, I'd still be shocked if he was a house vote in the upcoming weeks.
So part of me wishes for the guys they just kept throwing Jordan in. Because if Jordan crabbed that maze, he was like, Emmanuel, you were talking that talk before. Come, you're already down in the sand. I ain't gonna talk about anybody else. You come bring your butt here, and I'm gonna give you this work. It's Jordan counting, but like I'm gonna give you this work.
That's what everyone wants to see. Jordan versus Dollar Store Jordan. It'd be the matchup.
In counting.
In counting. That's true. I don't know how well.
That.
Well, there's a bad joke there. Go on. Keep going.
No, go for it.
No. Time's fast now. It's
fine.
Our need to be delivered.
So we have the daily working the angles. You're on two pyramids. One pyramid has the answer key. The other one, you replicate the answer key. It's a timed event. Fastest team to get it all correct and then jump into the water wins. And Kylan, Horacio, and Big T win.
Yeah, they dominate it. I really don't think it's even close. I think as far as kind of my notes, one of the only things that I'd really have is Mariah obviously looks incredible fit. She looks the part. Is she the female version of Derrick Henry?
You keep wanting to make Derrick Henry a thing.
No, I don't. I don't want to actually make him a thing. I don't want to see him come back. But
I would say she's more Corey Warden early challenge career.
That's fair. I can live with that.
Got the muscles. Got like she's shown in like certain type of dailies that like she can show out. Like she can run, she can do the heavy shit, but like she's only been down in the sand once and lost. Which was like Corey's early career as well, which is like he would talk that talk. He talks a lot more than Mariah talks, but like it's that archetype. And you know what? I love that they showed James Fink because I didn't watch the UK. And
his face.
Yeah, that broken nose was brutal.
He has not only was
that was almost like orbital bone, the type of way that like where the black eyes came in.
You know, if James has a publicist, I can only imagine that they were pissed this episode, because not only does it have that flashback look, but if you take a look at him and see him while they're at deliberation with his man bun back and you see some gray hairs that are streaking out, it's a really rough look for him. He doesn't look nearly like the Adonis that he wants to appear in almost every other episode.
Or Nostradamus, for that matter.
Very true.
We're getting there. So they win, and everyone's like, well, what's Horacio going to do? Like, is he going to make an actual choice? And he immediately goes like, well, Big T, what do you want? Like, it's a guy say, I want to hear your word. Kylan, what do you want? And we hear, this is the funny dichotomy of Kylan. Kylan's in confessional going, like, I want to hear Horacio's opinion. Like, Horacio doesn't realize how much power and influence he has. And then we just get Kylan going, well, I think it should be Emmanuel. And I'm not going to back down from that.
It's really weird how we have all these scenes that are together because he wants to get, I almost think it's because Horacio wasn't giving any type of opinion whatsoever, right. Just bouncing it back. That Kylan said, this is who I have to say. And it's almost, because then we see later when Horacio has the conversation with Emmanuel being like, oh, you know, I was kind of bullied into making this decision. It was like, I don't think you were. I think you had this ample opportunity to throw out some names, and it was just your reluctance to say anything. That's what kind of forced your hand, was not giving any opinion whatsoever.
Right. Like, I think his biggest flaw is what he actually said was like, in Ride or Dies, he let Olivia do all of the social politicking for them. Like, he was just there. He would talk to people on a, like, a social
with his
level.
5 eliminations.
Yeah, he would show out an elimination. He would try his best in dailies. That was his role. I'm hoping the story here is we see Horacio become this guy who will be more vocal, more like affirmative in his decisions as we go farther into the show.
So he's going to grow a backbone is what we're hoping for, because that'd be cool.
I mean, he's strong enough to maintain one, so
it should be there. You'd think it would be, but
it's hidden in the muscle. It just needs to grow a couple sizes, like the Grinch's heart. You know, we're in the holiday season. Like, just needs to. On that day, really he got so pissed off that his backbone grew 3 sizes that day.
It'd be nice, but I mean, really, when they were trying to pick a guy here, and Big T was going to be part of it, like, they really didn't have, because we see kind of the blowback being Horacio, what the hell? But it's just like, okay, if, say, because Big T's there, that we were taking James and Colum off the table just to, you know, appease her. So, hey, let's pick off someone that's lower on the other side. Is Emmanuel really that bad of a choice? I get it's not the ideal, optimal scenario for everyone, but he isn't in the Fantastic Four. Like, but he isn't Ed.
But, like, he's in the American Alliance. So, like, in their mind, they're like, Horacio and Kylan both know this. Just pick the 2 people that aren't in the Alliance. And be done with it, because they just want it to be like full control. Same thing with the Big Team Melissa round. It's like, just pick Callum or pick James and let the house vote be the other person, and then we let whatever happens.
Because the rest of the house does their job too, and it's like, we're definitely picking one of the 2 that's in that UK alliance.
Oh, well, we've never said that these people aren't hypocritical. But yeah, so like we have that, and this again shows like just how good of a game Emmanuel is playing, because like you compare it to when their own alliance Corey puts in Asaf, like everyone's just like they're like, what the hell? But like no one's truly like, oh my god, poor Asaf. Like everyone's like, Emmanuel's gonna kill y'all. y'all like, no one knows that he's in a great position, and that's good. Whereas like no one knows that Asaf's anywhere, and that's bad. Like, it's the 2 different paths of people trying to play a similar game.
People barely know that Asaf's in the house, let alone that he's fucking Geppetto.
No, he's just pulling all the strings. You don't realize it, man. You
pulling all the strings and being like, I'm the mastermind. Hey, Jay, guess what I found out? Isn't this cool?
So we go to the club, and Callum says to a table of Berna, Emmanuel, and Jay that he doesn't trust Nerys. Nerys is the queen. Nerys is the one like puppeteering Horacio to do what she wants overall, highlighting last episode with Melissa. And I wrote here that Jay's in his own world, because he's just like, oh, well, I didn't realize that Nerys could be that powerful. So she's on my list now. I'm not going to do anything about it, but I'm looking at her.
I did love for the fact that at least when they went out, Jay, he was trying to give more old school vibes and brought back the bandana. And it was
Yep.
like, God, Jay wants to be this so bad. There's just a few things missing.
Yeah. We see the creation of the biker chicks with Big T, Melissa, and Ed. And Big T is just like, hey, we like Ed. Ed's nice. Like, we will take anyone that we want. Like, we saw Big T during the challenge being like, Horacio doesn't realize this. Even though he even said my name in the first episode, he's in my alliance right now.
Which, yeah, it's great because at this point, I think they're just, being like, please, anyone, we don't care. Like, Colleen, are you still here? Do you want to be in our alliance? Like, no, we can't find her because no one knows that she's there. But we see Ed, he's massive. Ed, please be in our alliance.
Yeah.
And like,
and like,
if we submit it with a cool name, then it has to stick, right?
Right. And Ed's like, I'm good. I'm in a good spot with these people. Like, he's actually like good friends with like a good portion of those people in power. So I'm like, yeah, like from Ed's standpoint, like entertain it, be nice to them, but like, nah, I'm good. I don't need to attach myself here. They need, and he's right. He's like, they need me a lot more than I need them.
If only Corey could take notes here and being like not interested in working with them, but still nice to them. Let's jot that down. May need that later.
Yeah, so the Riot Eye girls think that Corey just says stuff and they can't really trust where his head is at in the game anymore. So Team America is going to turn on Corey. Michelle feels bad about that, but she has other things to worry about. She creates a date night with Callum. We do see on like social media, it was like what we didn't see was like Callum was doing a lot of like little niceties to Michelle while they were in the game, like getting her flowers, doing like all these little things like every day. So Michelle's like, this is the one thing I was gonna do. I was aware of the situationship. I do find it funny that like immediately after the episode, Michelle comes out with a sponsorship with a dating app.
That was perfect. Yes.
I love that. I love the timing.
And also, apparently, this scene happened earlier in the season because I guess Huey was still in the house when this happened. Is what I heard someone say.
Well, some say Huey's always been in that house, including Huey.
She still could be there. She's actually the welcome house guest that they have. Where like last season, it was just Kenny Clark was there, and they're like, "Shit, forgot he was in the dungeon."
Who? Exactly.
The GOAT of the challenge, Kenny Clark.
Oh, the Joker Kenny.
Yes. Thank you for that.
It's been a long time.
I brought him up. It was my own fault.
It was your fault. Okay, so everyone's trying to keep the Corey name a secret as much as they can, but like Corey's aware. Like no one's saying it to him, so he knows it's him. He's sketched out. So it's time for nomination, and apparently Emmanuel gets his butthole kissed a lot, so he says it because it's time for butthole kissing.
Well, we said earlier we don't kink shame, so
we don't kink shame. Even though it's what his words, a hairy ass. So, do what you will with that. So Corey asks if there's no other man worth saying their name. And everyone says like, well, we just can't trust you. So Corey decides, in order to save himself, he is only going to criticize and expose women.
Not great, Bob. Not great.
Starts with Raven and be like, oh, so it's bad when I do it, but it's good when you're indecisive. And why were you called down? Like, was it because you're trusting? Like, this ain't about the girls right now, Corey. This is about you trying to get another name out there. But he's so hell-bent on like trying to show that like expose himself enough that like he draws this line that I'm not with the other side, even though the other side is just literally Big T and Melissa. There's 20 plus people here, or actually there's less than 20 people there at this point.
We're down to 19, I believe.
Honestly, I don't care.
19, 18, something like that. I don't know.
I really do not care. But so he's just like, I I'm going to come clean. I've been lying and playing Melissa and Big T for idiots and using them for information to protect the people that I am aligned with. And like the big thing with this thing that's like, first off, you're personally hurting Big T and Melissa. You can tell by everyone in the room that like everyone's sort of uncomfortable with what he's doing. It's good TV, I will say, like, because like Corey said on social media, he's like, I don't play for the next game. Like, I have a full-time job. I don't know if I'll ever come back. I don't know even if I were asked to come back, if I would have the time to come back. So I'm just playing this game for this game. It's playing it badly, but it's good TV.
It was good TV, and once again, he's always there. I think really where he stepped over the line and it really lost everyone was the way that he was phrasing it. Made it seem like every conversation we've had has all been nothing but strategy to get you to trust me and get the information, which is really damning when you go back a few episodes and the party we had for Big T, because he needed to be a way to separate that, being like, no, as a person, I'm here for you. I supported you. But when it comes to the game, I'm for the other side. And I think him just doubling down, saying every conversation we've had, getting close to you has been nothing but for the game, to get information for the side. That was really damning, and something that I don't know how you come back from that.
And my thing is like, to what end? To what end are you, by you playing this way, are getting more information than literally anybody else in the game? I guess by the fact that you're just purely talking to them, but like they're two people. Two people can't control an entire vote. Like they don't have power. Like I guess that's my biggest frustration with these two episodes. It's like they're so fixated on Big T and Melissa, and from Jay's standpoint, Callum, and somewhat James. It's like, what can they do? Even if they had power, they can only control at most one person going in. They can't control two. And even with that, there's the odds of the draw where like that person may still be safe. And it's like there's all these things that they're doing, contingency planning and like attacking Big T and Melissa, when they are just two people facing a alliance of 13 plus.
Yeah. It makes no sense, because it'd be different if it was kind of more at the beginning of the game where the USA side was bigger, but at least at that point, the UK was all together. It was before we lost some of the numbers. So they had 7, 8 people. Then it's okay. You're getting some alliance like Corey play double agent here. But like you said, at this point, it's two people. Everyone knows they're at the bottom. No one's going to trust a thing when it comes to game talk that Big T and Melissa are going to say. So he really has nothing to gain by doing this. It makes, I don't know, it just makes no sense. And there's another point I wanted to make that I lost, so I got nothing.
So ultimately, we were talking at the beginning of this podcast about like what's missing in this season, and what's missing is the ability to have a counter to the big group, because they have successfully controlled the mechanism of this game and how eliminations are set up, how votes are set up. It never incentivizes a fight back, like, or the ability to even have that chance to fight back against the bigger group, because you start off with a public vote in order to send people in, which incentivizes sheep mentality, go with the flow. You now have this setup where like Corey unanimously voted in, so and gets called a bitch by Melissa. But here we get to the arena, and in this mechanism, you have two people that you can throw down there. So you're obviously going to just throw two people that are against you. And even if we have a choice where Devin pulls the chaos one, which he does because production probably told him, like, this is the one to pick the middle one, because we want to see it and you would be perfect for it. He's not going to pick against the people that he knows, which is the majority alliance. So like you're not set up to actually have any fight unless you were bringing more international champions. Like if Kaz came this round and pulled the mace, an American was coming down.
Yeah.
But you chose Devin to have this opportunity, who is only going to pick an international person because he doesn't fucking care about them. He doesn't know them.
Yeah, it's as much as it could end up being very hard for the season, but it's almost, and as much as I love both Big T and Melissa, I almost hope that both of them go out in the near future. That way that maybe we will start to see sides and opposition, because as long as the two of them are there, and maybe even James to some extent, because he's going to be the last remaining UK person, that maybe it starts to create that, all right, the US alliance, we're going to split down the middle and we have this side versus this side. But until that happens, it's just
the issue even there is like, okay, you get rid of Big T and Melissa, and like you have Callum out now. It's like the girls, it's just gonna be Raven. Like it's just gonna be Raven. And then from the guys, it's just gonna be Kyland and Corey. Yeah. And James. Like those, like the names are already there. Like those are the people that are gonna be constantly thrown down there, and it's on them to consistently win the eliminations in order to stay in the game.
Do you think so? Yeah. Right now we have it with we see Devin go later and he pulls the chaos thing. Do you think it changes at all if the rules were slightly different? So say when we come to that it's all right, sure, it's going to be those 3 or 4 names that are going to be down there, but the little twist on the rule was if you pull the chaos thing, the 2 people that were voted down there, they're safe, and the champ has to pick someone that's standing up there. Do you think that changes it at all, or we're still?
Well, in terms, let's say that was the rule already, we still get the result that we had today.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's like you almost need all these people, all these internationals to go, so that when champions get that, they have to pick someone that they know. Because let's be real, if Casey pulls it, like the only person that she knows that she'll call down is Big T.
Yeah.
And Melissa. And that's it. Maybe Zara. Who knows? Oh no, she knows Zara, so she won't pick Zara.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So Devin comes out. He pulls the mace because Devin's the king of pulling the magic cards in the draw all the time.
The horseshoe shoved up his ass from his very first season.
Yeah.
But this was perfect because everyone says it is that Devin's a showman. He's going to put on a show. He knows why he was brought there, and he's going to deliver.
Did he, though? Did he deliver?
He at least had some entertainment value that was lacking in this episode.
So, like, I do like him calling all of them a bunch of L7 weenies. They're not. I'm not impressed by them. They're not challenge material. But I find it funny that I know his elimination record's actually good, mainly because he gets all the mental ones, and the only physical one he won was because Wes gave 40% in it.
Yeah.
And was like not really trying. I know Devin will say otherwise, but we know.
I mean, he lost an elimination. Yes, I get it was pairs, but to Johnny Riley. So,
Johnny Riley wasn't bad. Okay.
He did have some good wins. I'll give him that.
He almost won free agents.
Guess he came in second. He was only a few minutes behind. That's fair.
Yeah. It was his best season, but anyway, so Devin's just like calling everyone out, asking people to say actively who he should go against. Mainly, a lot of people are just saying, just pick Corey. But obviously he's like, well, I'm a master of chaos. So obviously I'm not going to pick 90% of the people there because I know them. So he's like, okay, it's between James and Callum who he's going to pick. And he's like, and you see Michelle like actively say like, do not pick Callum. And then you have Mariah go, don't pick James either. Don't do it. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. And right then and there, Devin should have made the choice and said James. Because that's the chaos move. Because that would piss off someone that like I don't know his relationship with Mariah, but it obviously we keep being shown that like he does have a outside relationship with Michelle.
Yeah. Well, it was also funny because they put Devin in the perfect spot because when at first no one's saying anything, and he's like, you guys are idiots. Like, you're not trying to save anyone. So this means, I can cause chaos as much as I want. But they put Devin in the perfect situation here because if everyone was speaking up, it would have been the exact opposite confessional of like, you guys are idiots. You shouldn't have said anyone. Like, you said this, don't pick this
Right.
person. Well, this fits the person I want to pick. So I'm picking them. And there is a rumor out there. I haven't seen anyone on the cast really confirm it, so we can't say for sure. But the rumor out there is after Jessica was eliminated,
I
that
did
she
see
had
this rumor.
had a conversation with Devin and said that Callum was mean to her, and if he had the opportunity to pick him, so that could have factored into it. But at this point, we don't really know what the validity of that is.
I don't like that they were allowing eliminated people to be in the same like hotel or whatever as champions being pulled in.
Well, did it happen there in person or did it happen over like social media or something? Like, I guess that
Who
we don't
knows?
know
Who
because
knows?
Jessica at this point we think would have been gone several weeks. She was the
Yeah, but
first
that's
one
still
out.
enough time that they had brought the champions in that because obviously we saw like the other rumors of her and Devin were dating or are dating. I don't know.
That's true.
But he picks Callum. Ultimately, I think he was always going to pick Callum or James because those were the two people he didn't know, and he probably thought Callum was dumber
Probably, which
and an easier beat because you have Nostradamus over there, the Hulk on the other end, and like all you see at the time is just a bunch of crates. So
yeah,
it's like,
which I also love how this elimination plays out. So as soon as he picks Callum, we see Michelle starting to have a little one of her meltdowns, being like, "What the fuck? Why did he do that?" and pulling so hard for Callum or whatever, and mad at Devin for doing this, and knowing what we know that she doesn't, that he's dating someone. Devin really did her the best favor ever because it gets rid of him and means they can't keep growing closer while he's dating someone else.
true. And it can't be a Devin elimination without it literally being called totally mental.
Yep, that was 100% for Devin, which is
Yeah.
great. I mean, you're not going to call Devin in.
Which goes with what I was saying. Like, I don't know that they set up Kaz for something she would be good at, but like so far for the two guys that they brought in, they gave an elimination that very much suited to their strengths. Jordan with endurance and like and like mind games during endurance, and then you have Devin, which is purely let's count stuff.
Yeah, but do you think like there was necessarily because we just haven't seen enough of Kaz of being like because we know she didn't go down into elimination at all during the UK. And
Yep.
what I think her and Jordan went down into
They
one.
They beat
Bananas.
Johnny. Yeah, they beat
Yeah.
Bananas and
Justine
in the puzzle.
So
Like the wall puzzle.
Yeah. So I don't know that at this point in time that we know like, oh, this is an elimination suited for Kaz.
I feel like hers would be endurance.
That's true.
Potentially. I know that she's not Jordan level of endurance because we saw that in the final, but like
very few people are.
Right. But anyway, it's counting a bunch of shit. There's 10 crates. Drag them over to all 10 spots, open them, count everything in them, then place them all in order from highest to lowest. Callum at least I love that he at least tried to hide some of Devin's pieces when Devin's first crate opened up and like kicking them away, hiding them in the sand. It ultimately doesn't mean anything. I'm sure someone on production was like, hey, Devin, like you don't have all your stuff. And because there was no reason for him to be like, oh, something's missing.
Yeah.
From the box.
Yeah, it wasn't like they all had to be even numbers or something like that.
Right, because like one of the numbers he had was like 129. But like they're cheating off each other, trying to get each other's numbers. Guessing they both get multiple wrong, but ultimately Devin wins. Like I agree with Devin in this in terms of like ignore everybody else, just do just count and trust what you're saying in your head, because I think it would mess me up if everyone was trying to help me count stuff, which also you shouldn't need help counting stuff. Just there's easy ways to go about this. You break it off into fives, you break it off into tens, something that's very easy, and then you can literally just count how many pairs of that you have and then add whatever remains.
Are
It's
we sure
very
Callum
easy.
could? Are we sure Callum could add though? Are we positive?
I don't know. I can't guarantee, but it's literally just counting. Devin wins, Callum goes, but Devin does say he's like, which again goes against him being a chaotic player. He's like, in hindsight, I should have picked James because everyone seems to like Callum, and I feel bad about that. And plus, it seems like James is fucking Mariah, and
Which
that goes against what the Banana Man would want.
and apparently, what also this came from Mariah. She was tweeting after the episode that said that she wasn't sure who it was because it was someone that was standing down at like the other end of the line where they had shouted it out prior to that the two of them were together, James and Mariah. So I think
mean,
it was
doesn't
already well
surprise me.
known before.
I
So
I bet it was like Olivia at this point, because like we know Olivia's stance on it.
Yeah. Well,
Or
we
maybe
think
Raven. Who knows?
yeah, you'd think it'd be someone who actually knows Devin, not just a rando that was down there. So,
But like now this adds a lot more context as to like the future like stuff, because I know like people were giving Tori shit of like saying stuff to Mariah, and they were like, how would she know? It's like, well, people talk, and now like that it's out there, like Devin's gonna come back, and like Casey's there, Tori's there, like there's other champions there that know all this, like all those relationships, and be like, hey, Mariah's cheating on Bananas with this dude. And like there's a lot of these champions that are friends with Bananas that are going to be rolling in.
yeah, which makes more and more sense that he found out, because we do know that he was originally supposed to be one of the mercenaries. Bananas,
Yeah, but he hurt his ankle.
Yeah, he hurt his ankle. He couldn't come. But also, I mean, smart on him, because you know what they were going to do. They were hoping that both Mariah and James were going to be there, and they wanted to make a story, a
But
moment for the episode.
But also, they weren't gonna like have like Bananas come down there, and Bananas is a smart dude, and he's gonna be like, I want to win $10,000, and depending on what the elimination was, he's not gonna pick James.
Well, no, I don't
it's
think
like
that he'd
stand
do
on
that.
an ice cube.
It's possible, but no, I just meant that I don't think he wanted that to be aired out on TV. It doesn't mean that he would have picked James and called him out because he was, raging pissed because he just found out about it, but who knows?
Yeah, we'll see. But that wraps up the 2 episodes. We got through it in under 90 minutes. So I'm very happy about that. Thank you all for watching all of this. We apologize for not being here last week. We're a little up in the air. Next week, I'm going to be on a little vacation. We're going to see if we can make it work for next Sunday. If not, we'll get a double episode again for episodes 8 and 9. But thank you all for continuing your support of our coverage of the challenge and all of Dance Rants for all the troll accounts on social media. Dan, what else do we have going on? Close us out.
So, as always, we have Survivor coverage right after the episode. So, this upcoming week, because Alex is getting his well-deserved vacation, you can join myself, Matt, maybe Wayne, who knows, but it'll at least be some combination of us Wednesday night right after the episode. This week with a new episode of House of Villains. I am sure at some point we'll throw out some roundtables and maybe even another Talk Villain to Me with Johnny Fairplay. Haven't spoken to him, so don't know, but I would expect to see that coming on our Reality After Show feed in the next few days. As always, the best way to support the podcast is to become a patron. You can do that at realitypatron.com. By sign up for a month. That gets you access to the secret Facebook group. You get access to Johnny and Matt's favorite podcast of the Q&A, where you hear a ton more of the backstory into House of Villains. Plus, they were both together this week, so I'm sure there's double the stories that you're in for that'll be coming Monday night, as well as they are getting towards the end of Australian Survivor Brain versus Brawn. They cover all that on our Patreon. Sign up for a month, try it out. If you don't like it, just let us know, and Johnny will refund your money. It's $5-10. Just give us a try for a month. It really helps us out. But if you're watching this on YouTube, please hit that notification bell so you're aware of every time that we're going live with one of our podcasts. And then wherever you're listening to on the podcast version, whether that be Spotify, Apple Music, wherever else, please rate and review us 5 stars. It takes 30 seconds. It helps us out tremendously. We would greatly appreciate that. You can yell at me for my rants. Yell at Alex because you want more Anissa rants. Whatever that may be, please.
We don't need Anissa rants. We don't need them. If you want Anissa rants, go on go on Twitter, go to MT Exposed when they were talking about the Challenge Mania experience that they went through. That had Anissa there.
Yeah.
Let you know what, I'm gonna pass my torch over to them for all the Anissa hate.
And like Alex said, we'll come up with the schedule. We'll be back. We'll be here all season long, Alex and I covering Challenge 39, Battle for a New Champion. Thank you all so much, and have a good one.
See ya.